I walked up my own porch and found my wife on the ground, clutching her shoulder, staring at the sky like she was trying not to pass out. Two strangers were standing over her holding a clipboard and a phone, acting like what they'd just done was normal. By the time the sun set that day, the HOA claimed my land didn't belong to me anymore. I never wanted to tell this story, not because I'm ashamed of what happened, but because every time I replay it, I still feel that same tight pressure in my chest, the kind that tells you something sacred has been crossed. I came to this place to be done with conflict. I didn't move out to a quiet stretch of land near the lake so I could fight another war. I moved here because I thought peace was finally allowed. That illusion shattered the moment I heard my wife scream. I was walking the spillway that morning, same route I've walked hundreds of times. Gravel under my boots whined off the water, nothing but the sound of birds and my own breathing. Then I heard it, a sharp cry that didn't belong to the land. Not an animal, not the wind. A human sound. Pain. Fear. I didn't run. Old habits die hard. I moved fast without looking rushed. Every sense narrowing body, switching into that quiet mode where emotions get locked away. When I rounded the porch, I saw two men in matching gray polos stepping back like kids caught stealing. One had a clipboard tucked against his chest. The other had his phone raised like he'd been filming. But I didn't look at them first. I looked at Sarah. She was sitting on the porch steps, her gardening gloves still on one hand, gripping her shoulder, jaw clenched so hard I could see the muscles shaking. She'd been tending to the herbs she keeps near the railing, the ones she uses sometimes for her patients at the clinic. Simple, harmless things. Now she was breathing in short, careful bursts, trying not to cry. I dropped beside her and asked one question. "What happened?" She swallowed. "They pushed past me, said they had authority to inspect the property." Authority. On my land. Outside any HOA boundary. Without notice. Without permission. I brushed her hair back and lowered my voice. "Did you fall? Or did they make you fall?" "They shoved the door," she whispered. My shoulder hit the post. Something inside me went cold. Not hot. Cold. That calm that scares people more than shouting ever could. I stood up slowly and turned to the men. "Names," I said. Clipboard guy straightened up suddenly, very official. "Sir, we don't have to disclose personal details during an HOA inspection." "Then write them down," I said, nodding at the clipboard. "Or you're trespassing twice." They hesitated. The phone lowered a little. Finally one muttered, "We're with the Pine Ridge Homeowners Association enforcement team." I didn't raise my voice. This ranch is not and has never been under Pine Ridge jurisdiction. "That's not what our updated map shows," the man with the phone said, trying to sound confident. I took one step forward, not threatening, just enough to close the space. "Put the map down," I said. "Step off my porch." They backed up. Not much. Just enough to show they were suddenly unsure. They muttered something about non-compliance and returning with law enforcement. Then they left gravel crunching under their tires like a bad omen. I didn't watch them go. I helped Sarah inside, sat her down, wrapped her shoulder. It wasn't catastrophic, but it wasn't nothing. And none of it should have happened. As I taped the sling in place, my mind was already working. Two enforcers. Fake authority. A mysterious updated map. Someone bold enough to put hands on my wife. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was deliberate. The next morning confirmed it. A black SUV rolled up my dirt road like it owned the place. Out stepped Bethany Crowell, HOA president of Pine Ridge. Tailored blazer, sunglasses, that confident little smile people wear when they're used to getting their way. She didn't even acknowledge what happened the day before. "I'm here to clear up the misunderstanding," she said, unfolding a document. "Our inspection team was operating under this updated community boundary map." I looked at it for half a second and knew. It was fake. Not sloppy fake. Intentional fake. The line curved just enough to swallow my access road, the strip of land that leads to the lake. A fresh county stamp sat at the bottom, wrong font, wrong spacing. And the surveyor's signature, a man who retired 3 years ago. "This is forged," I said. "It's official," she corrected, smiling thinner. "Filed 2 weeks ago." That's when my neighbor Tom walked onto the porch, coffee in hand, retired surveyor, 30 years with the county. "That map's garbage," he said casually. "Henry Leeds hasn't touched a plat since his retirement barbecue." For just a second, Bethany's smile cracked. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just HOA overreach. Someone thought I was stupid, or tired, or weak enough to fold. They escalated fast after that. Within 24 hours, violation notices started appearing. Dozens of them. Fence height, mailbox color, visual clutter, unauthorized trellis, livestock containment. I don't even have livestock. They hit me with so much paper it felt suffocating. Every time I walked outside, there was another notice taped somewhere. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't get to me. There was a night I sat at my kitchen table staring at the stack and thought, maybe I should just sell. Maybe this fight wasn't worth it. Maybe I was being stubborn. Sarah's shoulder still hurt. The stress was everywhere. Maybe peace meant letting go. That thought lasted about 10 minutes. At 12:47 a.m., my phone buzzed. Trail cam alert, North Gate. I watched the footage as two men in reflective vests moved my property stakes. Measuring, hammering, whispering. Move it 8 feet. They weren't guessing. They were executing a plan. I confronted them. Didn't touch them. Didn't threaten them. Just showed them the footage and asked one question. Who told you to do this? They hesitated. Then said the name that changed everything. Hale Development Group. That was the moment the doubt died. This wasn't about rules, or lawns, or compliance. This was about land, my land, and a developer who couldn't buy it the right way. From that moment on, I stopped reacting and started documenting. Cameras, photos, timelines. I called a land rights attorney I trusted, Sarah Whitfield. She saw the evidence and didn't blink. This is felony-level fraud, she said. And when we caught Marcus Hale himself on camera, standing on my property at midnight pointing and saying, "Move the stakes 15 feet inward. The rancher won't have a leg to stand on," everything snapped into focus. The HOA tried one last push, showed up with a deputy, demanded entry. I handed them a court order instead. Bethany's hands shook. The deputy backed off. The mask fell. 2 days later in court, the videos played. The forged plat, the audio, the intent. Bethany folded. Hale went quiet. By the end of the week, the HOA board was suspended, the plat was voided, and arrest warrants were issued. I stood at the end of my driveway as they took Hale away. He tried to bargain. "Name your price." I told him the truth. "Stay off my land." That was the end of it. No celebration, no victory lap, just the quiet returning to a place that deserved it. And the lesson: power only works when people are too scared or tired to challenge it.